Security Dossier, securing the perimeter. Hello and welcome to your channel of choice. With the rising spate of insecurity in the country, especially banditry and insurgency, there is a greater need for Nigerians to support the armed forces with a view to bringing to an end this ugly menace. What is the role of the media in finding a lasting solution to the issue of insecurity, and how can Nigerians be a part of this process? These and more will be our focus on the program today. This is Security Dossier and I'm Lawrence Audu. We will kick off the program in earnest after this short break. Please stay with us.
The question of leadership is a factor in this regard to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale.
Welcome back. The fight against insurgency, how far so far? And how can the media be a part of the solution? With me to discuss this on Security Dossier today is the Chairman, Military Writers Association of Nigeria, Military Writers Society of Nigeria, I beg your pardon, Dr. Abubakar Mohammed. Welcome to Security Dossier.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
It's a pleasure having you too.
Thank you very much.
Now, the Military Writers Association of, Society of Nigeria, what is it all about?
Well, it's a group of people of like minds who believe in what the military is doing, and they have something that unites them all, that is the pen and paper. They are either journalists, authors, who have written books, or who have written articles, poems, and what have you. And these very people believe that it is good for them to use their craft to support, encourage the military. That's just what the society is all about. Of course, including even those who are photographers, because they are equally part of the arts something. So people who are into photography, drawing, and whatever, people who write articles, who are journalists, who write books, poems, and you think you can use this craft to promote the welfare of the military, to encourage them, even to criticize them, but criticism with meaning. Criticism in the sense that it's not that you want to tarnish or run down the institution. You want, things to get
Constructive,
better. Constructive criticism, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the society is all about.
So what came about this? How did it all start?
Well, we've discovered that, a similar society like this exists in the United States. And some of us are members of that very society, Military Writers Society of America. And someone said, who is equally a member, that, see, we are not American citizens, and whatever we do there is a wasted effort. And we even pay $50, annual membership. So what's the use of, joining a society in the US that doesn't promote or defend your interest? Since we've discovered there is a gap in Nigeria, not only in Nigeria, in many African countries, why not set up something similar in Nigeria? Why not set it up? So we speak to some people. Your chairman is, your publisher is one of those people we contacted, and so many people of like minds, and we've got the go ahead to come up with the society. That was last year, the last quarter of last year, November, December, if I can recall. So this was what just gave us the idea to set it up. It's
So
not an original idea that come from. We've seen it.
Not like the military gave you a heads up to do this.
No. They don't even know when we set up the thing. They don't even know that some of us are members of the American Military Writers Society. We've been there monitoring and seeing how things have been done there, to learn. But at the end, even if it comes to voting, even if it comes to your opinion, doesn't count.
Sure.
So we set up what we will set up here without their consent or approval, because it's not a government body, it's non-partisan, it's whatever, not for profit and non-partisan and not. It's a neutral body. So, but the governing council suggested that it is good we inform them. We still refuse to do it. We said, okay, let's approach the Corporate Affairs Commission to kickstart the process of registration. This was what made us to now inform the military people. The Corporate Affairs Commission said, well, we are seeing Nigerian Military Writers Society. We would strongly advise you get a written consent from the military authorities to show or to convince us that this thing won't be counterproductive, that they are okay with it. So this was what made us to now approach the CCMA, who is now in Kaduna.
General U.S. Mohammed.
Yes, to tell them this is what we are doing. These are the steps that we have taken, and we are here to see you because of this issue of this registration. So that was what made them to be fully aware of, and they welcomed the idea, and I think some of them even said they want to join.
Okay, now, from your explanation, it looks like it is an association primarily open to defense correspondents too.
Of course.
As it stands, in spite of what you are doing in the society, there's still this negative narrative against Nigerian military. How far have you gone in terms of informing the public on the authenticity of whatever information is out there, or trying to disabuse their mind from fake news, especially in this period when the country is at war with insurgents?
Well, I think I will itemize it maybe in 3 points. Number one, we collaborate with journalists. The Nigerian news is one medium that I think we've been having a very fruitful relationship. And there are other media houses, other journalists who equally believe that, some of the news or some of the stories, that people peddle out there is just a bunch of lies. So we collaborate with them, and they use, their platforms to educate, to inform the people, the general public, that this is the correct situation of things. You might hear this rumor or this rumor because of the social media, because of people who have, even a fifth columnist who just want to run down the system, but this is the actual thing, based on facts that we know or we have been told or we have seen with our eyes. So we are using, our members have veritable platforms, and they do this at gratis. You don't pay them anything, because they believe this is their fatherland, and the army is an institution that needs to be protected. So we are using the various media platforms. Then number two, through poems. Poems. People write poems. Number three, press conference. You call media houses, general public, you speak. And then in addition to this number two that I told you, poem, there is this informal gathering where you congregate together with friends, associates, maybe to have a drink or whatever. Then you bring the topic, people, and everybody come with his own idea, and then you will see some of them that have this very wrong notion. So you try to disabuse their mind by giving them, the correct fact. Some will end up changing their minds. Some will end up saying no. You might have been paid, or you might have been, you are doing this not just because you are interested in the country or the army. It's a sponsored thing. Like the last press conference we did, a rejoinder came that it was sponsored. So, but these are some of the challenges associated with this thing. But I think by and large, we are doing a little best here and there. And there are some people that no matter what you do, you cannot change them. They have already made up their mind. Because they have a predetermined something they want to achieve. So, but some people that are innocent, that have been deceived innocently, and they think, what they are hearing is the truth. Once you tell them, they say, "Oh, I'm now getting the clearer perspective."
So, from this explanation you just gave, it's very clear that the media, to a large extent, has not helped matters in this country in terms of information dissemination, quality, true information, as it relates to the war on insurgency. How complicit is the Nigerian media here?
Well, the media, by and large, the media is trying. We have a vibrant media institution in Nigeria. If I would bunch up the whole media institutions into one, I would give them maybe 60%, which is a credit. But there is still much that needs to be done. I don't know, possibly because most of these very media houses and platforms are owned by politicians. So the politician who is the owner usually, superimpose his idea or his mission, his interest. Whatever you do, it must be geared towards achieving my interest. So, by and large, you will see that the media is equally, coming short of its expectation. With regards to the military, I've seen one thing. If the military did something good, there is this reluctance in reporting it.
Sure.
It's even if you are reporting it, you will see one will tend to make it, it won't be a breaking news. It won't be in the front cover. It will be as if, no, we are not even happy that this thing has happened.
Sure.
But the moment, the enemy, our common enemy, the bandits, the terrorists, the moment they are able to achieve one little breakthrough, it's all over. So in this very case, the media is complicit.
A case in point is one Lance Corporal that's defied his oath of service to make a broadcast recently. What's your view? Does it reflect the generality of the issue on the ground, or is just an isolated case?
I don't. Can you rephrase the question?
It was Lance Corporal who came out recently.
Lance Corporal Martin.
Yes, to say, it took on service chiefs and made a whole lot of allegations. Is that a reflection of what is on ground?
No.
According to, from your own perspective?
Well, fortunately, I just returned from Maiduguri, and I interacted with, I think, 3 soldiers. One is a junior officer, a lieutenant, the remaining ones are corporal like Martins. And what they all told me is things are getting better. Things have improved. 2014-15, their feeding allowance used to be 500 naira per day. It has now been increased to 100%. They get 1,000. And one of them, I told them, I said, see, if you are telling me your feeding, whatever has been improved, and they prepare meals and give you, the meal is good, I want to see it. Can you do me a favor, snap the meal?
I have participated in their meal before.
Thank you. So I saw them eating chicken.
Yeah.
Huh? So,
in fact, at a point, we traveled from Maiduguri through Polka, Goza, to Madagali in Adamawa State. And all through the 4 days we were in Maiduguri, the food served to soldiers was what we were being fed.
Thank God you have seen it with your eyes.
And it wasn't
Thank
really
you.
any different.
So when I saw it, I said, this is marvelous. Then he said, apart from that, the present military leadership has equally introduced what they call cigarette allowance.
Wow.
That is 200 naira daily. Whether you smoke, you don't smoke. If you don't smoke, you can convert the money into something.
Yeah.
So after every 30 days, end of the month, they lump up your cigarette allowance of 200 naira daily into 6,000 and then credit your account with it.
Wow.
You know, all these are things, you know, being put in place to motivate the
fighting force.
yes. Then their operational allowance used to be 1,000. That these people have, the army leadership or the military leadership have increased it to 1,500 and they pay it straight into their account. I don't know any other thing any other person wants, you know, the leadership to do more than this. You understand? To me, with the present financial constraints the country is experiencing, and you are putting all these things in place to motivate and encourage them, I don't think if you, let me just factor in with the issue of replacement of service chief. Even if you ask these ones to go, and I know one day they will go, no one is indispensable.
Sure.
But if somebody is doing his best, and you've seen that, you know, he's really doing his best, you should encourage him and help him so that the common enemy of the country will be defeated. So what they are doing, this present crop of army leaders, the military leadership, I think they deserve commendation. Because when I heard it, I said, with cigarette allowance, operational allowance, and all this, and then I told him, why are you people not talking?
Yeah.
I say, by the nature of our profession, we are not supposed to whatever, but we know things have really
So it now
improved.
behoves on the media to actually look at
Yes,
this thing
yes.
and, you know, report it.
Yes, because
appropriately.
Mr. Lawrence, to be honest, myself, I was thinking it's 500 naira. And I never even know that there is something called cigarette allowance. And the operational allowance, I thought it is still 1,000. But this guy was one who was saying it's 1,005 with cigarette allowance, with this. So what else do they want?
Now, what are those factors? In spite of all this, you know, we still have pockets of attacks, pockets of, you know, resistance here and there from, you know, the insurgents, especially at this point where there's some form of banditry, even though several operations are ongoing and successes are being, you know, recorded every day. But why? What are these factors responsible, you know, for the spate of violent attacks, you know, we keep hearing recently?
Well, I think I've not had anybody made mention of this, but I think before we talk about ignorance and poverty, let's just begin with lack of patriotism. It's like so many people don't see this country as their own. You know, this is my mobile device. I have interest in it. I'm watching it so that this thing will not fall to the ground and maybe the screen gets smashed or something. So if we as Nigerians begin to see this country as ours, that we are stakeholders, that we have no any other place to go apart from this country, that today if something will happen, we cross to Togo or Benin Republic or Niger or
Is there a country that can accommodate Nigeria's refugee?
Thank you. They won't accept us. Then we'll begin to say, okay, this country is not just an entity that belongs to Buhari or Sadiq or Burete. It is ours. Then once that thing is in place, then the issue of saying we need to protect it, we need to safeguard the interests of the country will be there. But at the moment, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I'm seeing it as if no one really cares about the country. It's like everybody is trying to make a plan B. And who knows? Maybe it's the elite that have started it. You see everybody with a second passport of another country.
Sure.
So the ones that are the masses say, okay, since we cannot go anywhere, and the way we see it is like people up there, they are having their time. Let's destroy the After all, what is the benefit of being in Nigeria? Mr. A is a graduate, there is no job. The other one wants to go into trade, there is no capital. You understand? All these are things that, you know, end up frustrating young people. And he looks left, he looks right, then you see the younger brother of the neighbor or the son of the other person, his cousin or his father has become local government chairman or House of Rep member or whatever. All of a sudden, overnight, what? They say, okay, it's So then the issue of the ignorance come. The fundamentalists will come and tell them the reason why you are suffering is because of injustice. And what is bringing this injustice is this democracy. Is this constitutional form of government that empowers this democratic setup. Had it been we are in charge with Sharia, there will be justice. So what you are suffering from is injustice. This country has enough resources for everybody to have the good life. What they are sharing there, what they are busy enjoying is a national cake. You have your share there. So if you can support us to overthrow them, we'll bring in. It's still politics. The terrorism is politics by means of armed conflict. It's still another form of politics, but they come with the religious narrative because they know this frustrated young man will swallow the debate. So once he hear it, to him, he is doing, the work of God. We need to overthrow the system, and he joins them. And the politician now comes who doesn't like the government, who has a grudge with the government. He will now tell the fundamentalists, what you are doing is the work of God. I want to support it. And the fundamentalist who has deceived this young man, the fundamentalist is thinking this politician is interested in the so-called jihad or movement, not knowing that to him, you are just a tool. Understand? This thing you are doing will destabilize my enemy. And so all of a sudden you will just hear he has transferred logistic or money to this criminal. The criminal, the fundamentalist will not even know that it's this very politician that has, because he wants to be protected. And before you know, they are with money, they are with. So once this young man have been, okay, this discussion I had with you, are you okay with it? Okay, this is, go settle your family. He will go and call 10 more young people. Before you know it, they become. So it's, I don't know how to say it. So many factors are involved. You see, the political aspect is in it, because there are politicians that just want to discredit the system once they lose out. Then the so-called innocent religious fundamentalist who believe this system is evil, we must bring it down, but his challenge is finance and logistic that this very politician will now use. Then the frustrated young man on the street. You understand? The frustrated young man who has no job and who think, okay, I'm hopeless in this life. And the reason why I'm hopeless is because ABC are in government using democracy, and they are busy taking everything. And me, look at me, if I keep quiet, that's how I'll die in poverty, in penury. So I better join this very people to overthrow the system. Then gradually the thing becomes something, that even people who are educated will now join. That is why when people said it's just a matter of ignorance, I said, no, we've seen people with degree certificate, with master's, PhD, burning it, joining these very people. They will say, the way we see these people are doing, they are doing the work of God, and see how the thing is growing. No, we need to join them. You see, they burn, and it becomes a mass movement.
Well, we've been talking with Dr. Abubakar MS, who is the chairman, Military Writers Society of Nigeria. And we've been talking about how the media can be a part of the solution to insurgency in Nigeria. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, the program will continue. Please stay with us.
For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with indelible scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained resolute and undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents once took control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today, or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with. This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria.
Welcome back to Security Dossier. We have been talking about how the media can be a part of the solution to the issue of insecurity and insurgency in Nigeria. And my guest, Dr. Abubakar Mohammed, is still in the studio. Welcome back to Security Dossier.
Thank you very much.
We're talking about the factors responsible for the rise in spate of violence in Nigeria. What about those international players? Who are these people and what do they really want?
I think the issue of, I have been hearing this very perspective for so long, the issue of military contractors who were brought by the past administration, and when this government came, they terminated the contract. So a school of thought is out there that these military contractors were not happy that business was truncated, so they would frustrate the military, so that the country will not have this very pride of saying it was a Nigerian effort alone. That's another one. There is still another one that said, you hear the name of France, working with one or two NGOs in the area, that Nigeria is surrounded by Niger, Chad, Cameroon, in the northeastern axis, that these are countries that, there is the issue of oil that France. So, but it might be true that, France, recently the name of Turkey has been coming up. Then, as I've told you, with the issue of the military contractors, because even from the movies we know it, Blackwater and whatever, military contractor, is a capital-intensive business. So I don't know what amount of money the past administration paid the military contractors to came into the country to lead the war against the insurgency, but everybody knows, it's a common knowledge that they were here. Yes. But this government terminated their business. But my take is this: whether there are foreign element or not, foreign interest or not, the way I see it is this: if locals are not collaborating, I don't think they would achieve much. Because someone said it, I cannot really recall the name of the scholar, but he said the local populace in any given area, they serve like water to the fish. This is how they serve to the terrorists, to the insurgents. Once the population in a given area said, we won't collaborate, we won't support, we won't move your logistic, we won't identify with you, we don't believe in your ideology, it's like you are taking water away from a fish. It will die.
For the local collaborators to say no, how soon can we see that?
Honestly, I cannot.
And why? What will be the factor that will bring about we seeing a situation where locals will say, look, we're tired, you guys just get your things and leave?
Well, initially, the locals, started collaborating with the military. I could recall when the present military leadership took over, the way locals volunteered intelligence, the way they say positive things, you understand? The way they ginger and encourage the army is something that is just marvelous to see. But of recent, it's like, I don't know. So to my mind, the way I see it is like the INGOs are contributing. And when I say the INGOs are contributing, because this thing, whether we like it or not, the military have really decimated these very people. Sure. All this thing that people, blow it out of proportion is just within Borno State. It's just within a part of Borno State.
As in northern Borno?
Yes, that these things is happening. But initially, Gombe, Adamawa, so on and so forth, were all part of it. So INGOs over-concentrated themselves in Borno, and at the moment, that is, I think, the most viable means of survival is to either collaborate, work, support, partner with an INGO. So it's, people make money through this, and some people are saying, are thinking, if these INGOs leave this very place, how can we survive? The price of real estate has tripled, yeah. And we who are selling food in wherever, in Boloristo, our business is really booming, And the government is paying my neighbor 18,000 naira. The INGO is paying me 100,000. In fact, the policeman, my neighbor, is taking 50,000. INGO is paying me 180. Whatever it takes, we would keep these guys here. So if it means this insurgency should continue to burn and burn, let it happen, let it be. We don't
but
care.
a decisive action on the part of the Nigerian government can actually stop this. For instance, you ask all of them to go. Empower homegrown NGOs who don't even have as much resources as the international NGOs. Of course, they won't also have any other agenda except the patriotic one. When a government takes such decision, do you think this would, there'll be an end in sight anytime soon?
Well, the INGO thing is a very complex one, because once you touch one of them, the United Nations will come and speak.
But for instance, the Nigerian government can say, look, things have stabilized. You guys, can you please give way a bit? Is there a possibility?
It's very possible. I think Idris Deby in Chad did it.
Okay. And nothing has happened to him?
Yes, he gave them ultimatum of a few days, and said all our NGOs must pack and leave Chad. We want to take charge of our situation and see whatever it has. They have some semblance of stability there. In Nigeria, if the government is really serious, because to me, it's even a disgrace that INGOs have to come to feed our own people, then it means we don't have government. That was why Zulum was angry when he went to Gala, and he saw even in the public hospital, it's INGOs that are running the thing. And he said, where are the staffs? So it's not, what you see in Gala is just a microcosm of the larger whatever. Virtually everywhere you go, the civil servant, the whatever, everybody has surrendered everything to INGOs. So, and those INGOs, they have their interests. They have their interests. So I think it's high time our government, state, federal, begin to see this as something of urgent importance, matter of urgent importance. We must take care of our people. Because I agree, if you go to certain IDP camps, NEMA with SEMA, the SEMA brings in condiment, NEMA brings in the food. But the last time I was in one of the IDP camps, Bakassi, they said if the NEMA and the SEMA guys come with food before they will come back till after 60 or more days, before they come with it. So in my eyes, I saw the INGOs coming, sharing spaghetti, macaroni, and whatever to the people. You imagine you are a family man, and then I'm the one who come to your house to feed your children and whatever. Where is your honor? Where is your respect? Yeah, to a large extent, this is what we do here in this country. We allow the INGOs to come and they take charge of everything, and they go with this principle of neutrality, humanity, or whatever. They don't care.
They serve both the insurgents.
Yes. They serve they help the terrorists with medicine, with food, with supply, because they are neutral. I'm not just happy with what has happened recently, but look at it. You claim to be neutral to these people. They have abducted your staff. The action against hunger and is it Reach International and ICRC, their staff were kidnapped by this terrorist. So you see, the idea of saying principle of neutrality, of humanity, has a limit.
Sure.
Once it comes to the issue of terrorism and banditry, you must take a stand. There is nothing like neutrality here.
Yesterday, General Buratai, the Chief of Army Staff, said that dialogue with criminals is not a military option. What's your take?
I was happy when I heard him say that, because to my mind, the military and even the government should not, encourage that. For example, the complex subject area of this kidnapping that these terrorists are now using. They have been boxed into the corner by the military. They are finding it difficult to survive. And the issue of, sending money here and there is like the eyes watching the money is becoming very, very sensitive. Yeah. So the easiest way for them now to get money is to kidnap people. You hear them asking of $500,000. Huh? So if we keep on talking and negotiating with them and paying them money, the more you give them money, they go to Libya or Mali, go buy arms, and they constitute another havoc. They recruit more people. So you release 5 people, you give them maybe $100,000. That is if, because from what we hear, money, ransom is money is involved. So you because of 5 people, you give them this huge amount of money. Thank God you save life. But do we use this very amount of money, go recruit 10,000 or 5,000 people, buy cache of arms, and then come back and then kill another 1,000 people? So at the end, it's counterproductive. And if you give them, you negotiate, you give them, you encourage them to still repeat it. But I still have interest in negotiation and dialogue. What I don't agree with is you take people today, I negotiate with you, give you money, you release, you are broke, you still repeat it. But if it is on the area of want to dialogue, negotiate, then maybe stop these hostilities.
So what was the reason why the dialogue between the bandits in the northwest region of Sokoto, Zamfara and Katsina failed between the bandits and the government? I know there was a kind of arrangement and establishment that was supposed to get to recover them, and then de-radicalize them. But after the agreement, some of them submitted their arms, but a lot of them still went back into the forest.
Mr. Law, I think I don't know much about what is happening there, but I was able to discuss with former retired IGP Abubakar Mohammed, and although he's under oath not to disclose, I think what his committee did in Zamfara. But I think from what I've been able to gather from my little findings here and there, some big shots are involved, and they don't want this thing to end. Local chiefs, some politicians are involved. They don't want to see this crisis in the northwest coming to an end. So I'm using this very program to even call on the Zamfara state governor. If he's really honest, let him implement the report that the committee submitted to him. He constituted that committee, gave them their terms of reference, and they were able to do a wonderful job. They submitted the report to him. He's yet to implement it. Judges, some judges are part of that report. They were indicted. You understand? Local chiefs and so many other people. If they don't follow up and take the hammer and hit those people who are supposed to hit with the hammer and let people know that justice is really working. If you want to show mercy, you can show mercy. You can tell me I'm a crook, you've seen me on this, the judgment is to send me 25 years imprisonment, but you are using the prerogative of mercy. At least people will know that justice has been done. But this report has been kept somewhere. Then, I don't know. Maybe these are some of the reasons why you see the issue is persistent.
So finally, going forward, how can we bring insurgency and other forms of criminality to the barest minimum?
Well, we must see this not just as a military affair. You and I were not military personality. By inviting me to this very program, I think it's part of your own contribution to see that this thing comes to an end. So we must all begin to see that we have collective responsibility in safeguarding our country. And if you are living in a place in Borno, in Benue, in Kaduna, in Zamfara, you are a leader. Let's assume you are a leader, 50, 60, 70. You must be able to interface, interact with these boys who are doing this thing. You must be able to call them to order. You must be able to tell them this thing won't help us. What is your grievances? How can we channel it to the appropriate authority to see that, we seek redress for you? You must get involved. But at the moment, I'm seeing as if some of the people who ought to come out and speak, they have this I don't care attitude. And some of them are even in government. I wouldn't mention name, but I think the president has done enough. Let me just isolate the Northwest and, focus on the Northeast. He has done enough for that very region. So many people in the Northeast, are managing the security paraphernalia of the country. But I tell you, except maybe one or two among them, most of them are inaccessible.
Well, we have been talking on insurgency in Nigeria and how we can be a part of the solution. And my guest has been Dr. Abubakar Mohammed, who is also an author and chairman, Military Writers Society of Nigeria. Doctor, you're welcome. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you again some other time.
Thank you very much.
Nigeria remains the only country we can call our own. We must try to protect her integrity as much as we can. Just imagine a refugee situation from this country. Which nation around us is able to take the influx of Nigerian refugees? This is why we must try as much as possible to protect her sovereignty. This is where we draw the curtain on the program today. Until we come your way again with another exciting edition of Security Dossier, my name is Lawrence Audu. Please don't forget to follow us on all our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Bye for now. Security Dossier.